Well, Frank Stone comes out tomorrow, so we're just hours away from having all of our questions answered, or at least being presented with a giant array of all new questions. Which means this is a perfect time to lay out everything we know about the story, pieced together from the various trailers and promotional videos that Supermassive and Behavior have released, as well as make some predictions about what's going to happen. Obviously, none of these predictions or inductions count as spoilers, since I have no idea if I'm right about any of them, but I am going to be discussing lots of detailed info that you have to pore over the videos to get. So consider everything in the rest of this video to be spoiler adjacent, and strictly to be avoided if you want to go into the game clean. With that out of the way, let's go. The prologue has revealed a huge amount of major information. Frank Stone, Cedar Hill's own serial killer, is engaged in such a massive killing spree that he has literal buckets of flesh lying around. He's doing this, at least partially, at the behest of Augustine Lieber, an immortalist who is trying to use him to form a connection between the entity and the real world. He kidnaps a baby to set off the summoning ritual, and then is killed by Sam Green, a state cop. The question raised by this interaction is key. Is this Sam interfering with Augustine's plans, or is this exactly what was supposed to happen? Was the baby the sacrifice, or is the baby just a lure to ensure that the actual sacrifice, Frank Stone, was killed at the correct appointed time? 17 years later, a group of friends are making a micro-budget horror film. This includes Christine, the writer-director, Jaime, the only actor we see, as well as the crew, Linda and Robert. Robert, not coincidentally, is Sam's son, and Sam is now the sheriff of Cedar Hills. While we don't have any proof that it's Robert in the crib about to be murdered by Frank Stone, it's quite a coincidence that Sam has a son the approximate age of the kidnapped baby boy. The film crew attempts to wrap up filming their movie at the steel mill, only to be interrupted by Sam, an interaction that winds up with the camera being damaged beyond use. This forces the crew to purchase a new camera at the Needful Things store. Given the fact that the store is full of Dead by Daylight tchotchkes, and the game was careful not to show us Augustine's face during the ritual sequence, don't be surprised when the woman who runs the store turns out to be Augustine Lieber, manipulating events to ensure Frank gets captured on film using her magic camera. The crew then gets Robert to tell them how to sneak into the steel mill at night so they can finish the film, and they head off to infiltrate the location. Notably, they walk at least part of the way to the storm drains, because the front of the place is being monitored in some capacity. They film some sequences outside, but also move into the mill for some footage. We can see them starting up a generator, possibly just to get lighting for a shot, but who knows? Maybe they're intending to use the crane to smash open a wall, rather than just that being something that happens accidentally while they fiddle with the power. In any event, they discover Frank Stone's murder lair, and are alternately horrified and fascinated by the contents of it. It does make Christine look super sympathetic that she's filming the various body parts here. Something about trespassing in Frank's lair, and possibly the filming with the magic camera, causes a portal open, most likely bringing Frank Stone back from the entity's realm in some kind of a new, much more terrifying form. This leads to a bunch of chases and possible deaths. We can see Christine getting sucked into a portal, which might be fatal, and we've seen Jaime's body on the ground, so he's definitely killable. Bonnie and Linda definitely survived this, as Linda's an older lady in the present-day sequences, and Madison, the jacket lady, is almost certainly Bonnie's daughter, as this wireframe image reveals that they're being played by the same performer. We have no information about what can happen to Robert during the murder mill sequence, but I'd imagine he's also killable while Sam is not? It seems that what's most likely to happen is that the film crew is chased, and possibly some of them killed, by Frank Stone, and then Sam arrives, maybe summoned by Robert, maybe on his own, for a showdown with the new, monstrous version of Frank Stone. This probably ends with both of them dead or back in the entity's realm, as Stan seems pretty startled by Sam still being alive in the present-day sequence. With Linda and Bonnie definitely still alive, the Murder Mill film is able to be completed, and it shows in public, but the screening results in a massacre of some kind with people driven mad. After that, the film is buried for decades. Within this time span, Bonnie has a daughter named Madison, and then either dies or mysteriously disappears. Either way, she may well end up in the entity's realm, as Madison is haunted by dreams of Bonnie's torment. Possibly motivated by discovering her mother's fate, she finds out about the film Murder Mill and winds up invited, along with an older Linda and annoying rich guy Stan, to Dead by Daylight Manor, presumably by Augustine Lieber, who may have moved her collection of entity paraphernalia from the curio shop to a mansion. Sam also appears at the manor, although we have yet to see any hints about how that's possible, other than actor Toby Baccare's cheeky comment about Sam's encounter with the entity.
He basically encounters this entity and it leads into this explosion of several different reactions happening around, not just in his present space, but around the whole entire world and possibly time itself.
While in the mansion, they'll put on the Murder Mill film, which not only contains horrifying images, but seemingly acts as a portal for Frank Stone to re-enter the world. We can see him pushing through the screen here. It's here that we run out of information about the plot. There's going to be a chase around the mansion, presumably lots of deaths. At one point, they may try to use this horlogium thing to either send Frank back to the realm of the entity, or perhaps sever the connection that Augustine has built. One prediction I will make about late-game content. Just based on the way that stories are structured, the whole thing seems to start at this campfire that Augustine is standing next to, which is also the waiting screen for Dead by Daylight games. So, don't be shocked if the game has an ending, possibly even a mid- or post-credit sequence, where the various people who got killed during the game are standing around next to the campfire, forced to be participants in the entity's trials. As for whether or not Christine or Augustine are the same person, man, I don't know. They look the same to me, but I'm terrible with faces. I think I'm just going to let history be the judge on this one. Oh, and I don't know if it's a clue that Frank Stone is going to be a killer in Dead by Daylight come December, but I will say this. The fact that his clue line in the demo is called The Champion really suggests that that is his official Dead by Daylight killer name, and he will be usable under that name when his chapter comes out. So that's it. A full breakdown of everything we know about the story going in to release day. I can't wait to find out the whole story, discover where I was badly guessing things, and see what kind of amazing reveals the game has in store, which I'll be doing just over a day after this video goes up. Hopefully you'll be doing the same. For now though, I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time and you'd like to see more, there's buttons coming up to help with that. Questions, comments, your own theories about the Frank Stone story, go in the comments section below the video. Play my game, Clown in the Woods. You have just enough time to get through it before Frank Stone comes out. I will see you back here for my Frank Stone stream. But until then, I'll say that's right. Au revoir.